What's up guys, Rolandas here. So I came across this interesting study, FUE versus FUT survival rate. And what they focused on, they had 3 patients that they did FUE and FUT surgery in the same time. So pretty much they divided the donor area on half, and on one side of donor area they cut the strip, and on another side they did the FUE with the punches basically. And all of these patients were Norwood 5, very similar hair loss pattern, no medication are used, no prior hair transplants, pretty much nothing, just a fresh scalp, people can say. For all of them, they used roughly 2,000 grafts only just to implant in the frontal area, and the goal was not to produce a successful hair restoration, but rather to see the actual survival rate of the FUE grafts and FUT grafts. And the way they did it, they not just extracted from different areas in the same time, they also implanted in the different areas pretty much in the same time. So they split in a half recipient area in the front, they did the design, they split in a half, and on one half they implanted only FUE hairs. On another side, they implant only FUT hairs. They even divided the sections where they're gonna implant only singles, only doubles, and only triples to very nicely assess the result, which is really good idea. Of course, this study is really small, it's only involves 3 people. Recipient area was divided exactly in the middle in half, and pre-made incisions were done in exactly in the same manner. So they used 0.7mm incisions for single hair grafts in the hairline, and then 0.9mm incisions for both doubles and triples. But anyways, in this picture you can clearly see the areas of just singles, just doubles, and just triples. Total of 1,000 incisions were done in each side, so in total 2,000 grafts. The right half of the donor area was harvested with a FUT technique in the center of the safe area. The same physician with 20+ years of FUT experience removed the strip in all 3 cases. The same technicians with 15+ years of FUT experience microscopically dissected the strip into 1, 2, and 3 hair grafts. Immediately after the strip incision was closed, the patient left half of the donor area was harvested with the FUE technique. The same physician with 8+ years of FUE experience harvested and extracted the grafts in all 3 patients. The grafts were sorted under a microscope into 1, 2, and 3 hair grafts. All grafts were stored in the exact same holding solution for consistency-wise for up to 5 hours out of body. They implanted every single graft with in the same manner with the pre-made slits obviously, and using forceps. They didn't use any implanter pens just to stay consistent. In the end, they used 4 parameters to check the hair or graft or all together, let's say densities and survival. But this is like kind of boring stuff. It's not really interesting. But what I want to focus on is the actual final result, which was actually quite interesting for me to see. If you look at this picture, you're gonna notice that the final result at 12 months looks pretty much the same, like on either side, left or right, so FUE or FUT. It doesn't really matter, and that was their like a total conclusion as well, that if a good surgeon is using a good system and they like all the staff knows how to handle the grafts safely and nicely, there is virtually no difference in the graft survival rate. Of course, this study was really tiny, it was only 3 people, as patients, but it gives a really good idea of, what to look for. Of course, don't pay attention to the final result, because the purpose of this study was just to see the survival rate, not to give a great restoration. So they used only 2,000 grafts, they used only in the front, the density was super low, on 30 grafts per square centimeter in the very front of the hairline with the single grafts, which is really low, especially if someone has a fine hair. And I know actually what you're gonna think. Yes! Finally, it's all confirmed, FUT is shit, let's go all for FUE. No! Stop! You need to remember, in this very study they even said as well that it all depends on the surgeon, who is doing the surgery, how they're handling the grafts, and also one key thing that pretty much every single person is forgetting about, and it's the most important out of the study as well. It all depends on how big your donor area, how much potential donor you have, like for your lifetime basically, not just now but in the future as well. This should be the key factor deciding whether or not you're gonna have FUT or FUE, because they still both are amazing surgeries. And even if the graft survival is exactly the same in both techniques, it does not mean you should go for FUE because it's scarless or whatever. If you are a Norwood 5, 6, 7, it obviously depends on how big your donor area is and how stable your hair loss and like what's your family history with hair loss. It all depends on that. If you're gonna be Norwood 6 or 7, the only way, in my opinion, and many top surgeons gonna say the same, is to go for FUT, because this is gonna give you the biggest amount of saved grafts from your donor. FUE went a long way, it's really good. If you're going to a good surgeon, he knows what he's doing, he has a consistently good results, you have a really good chance to have an amazing result. But it does not mean you have to go for FUE all the time, especially if you're considering the low class clinics that are doing only FUE. So again, as always, be careful who you're going to. And as always, like, share, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.